Throughout history, humankind has left behind a lot of artifacts that offer glimpses into ancient civilizations and their achievements. However, there are certain enigmatic objects that continue to baffle historians, defying explanations and leaving us with unanswered questions about their origins, sense, and intent. In this video, we'll talk about 15 mysterious objects you won't believe have been found. From perplexing relics with avant-garde technology to objects that challenge our wisdom of ancient cultures, these relics stand as intriguing puzzles waiting to be decoded. Let's start off with number 15, the human skull cup. Archaeologists inside Gough's Cave in Cheddar Gorge, England, unearthed something pretty disturbing that will blow your brain: a human skull, carefully carved into a drinking cup. Dating back 14,700 years, this wasn't a random act of survival. It was deliberate, with clear signs of cutting, shaping, and polishing. Now, the more unsettling thing is that other bones found nearby had markings consistent with butchering. Some experts believe this is evidence of cannibalism, either for ritual purposes or survival. If true, that means the people of ancient Britain weren't just eating their dead, they may have been incorporating them into ceremonies. Was it an honor? A way to absorb the strength of the deceased? Or is it just raw desperation? We may never know. But the skull cup from Gough's Cave is a chilling reminder that our ancient ancestors were not good. Number 14, the giant footprints of Syria. Inside the ruins of an Iron Age temple in Ayn Dara, Syria, a set of massive footprints is carved into the stone floor. Each one is over 3 feet long, nearly the size of 3 adult human feet. Even stranger is that a single footprint is found 10 meters away, as if a giant figure had taken a step through the entrance. The temple itself dates back 3,300 years, dedicated to a powerful demon, possibly Ishtar or Baal. But the footprints? Well, no one knows why they were made or what they represent. Were they a symbolic representation of a god's presence? A depiction of giants that some ancient texts reference? Or just an elaborate ceremonial design? Regardless of their meaning, these carvings leave behind one big question. What kind of stories and beliefs have been lost to time? Well, sadly, we can't find that useless someone made a time machine or can travel at the speed of light. Number 13, 1.8 billion-year-old nuclear reactor. In 1972, French scientists analyzing uranium ore from Oklo, Gabon, discovered something baffling. The uranium had already been used. Further investigation revealed an ancient nuclear reactor, active 1.8 billion years ago, operating for nearly 500,000 years. How could a natural nuclear reaction occur without human intervention? Dr. Glenn T. Seaborg, a Nobel-winning physicist, argued that such a process required highly pure water and precise conditions that don't exist naturally. Other experts countered that the reactor formed due to rare geological conditions, where underground water acted as a neutron moderator, enabling a chain reaction. Yet, questions remain. The site's uranium-235 levels are unusually low, as if it was intentionally depleted, just like in modern nuclear reactors. Did prehistoric civilizations somehow harness nuclear energy? Or was this just an incredibly rare natural phenomenon? Well, until more solid evidence is found, Oklo's ancient reactor remains one of Earth's most mind-bending enigmas. Number 12. Drill bit in coal. In 1852, John Buchanan presented a baffling artifact to the Society of Antiquaries of Scotland, a drill bit completely encased in coal. It wasn't lying next to the coal. It wasn't wedged in a crack. It was fully embedded inside, trapped within a 22-inch thick coal deposit beneath 7 feet of clay and rock. The issue: coal takes millions of years to form. If this drill bit is modern, how did it get inside ancient coal without any sign of drilling? The society dismissed it, claiming it was probably from a past coal mining attempt, but Buchanan's detailed report never mentioned any drilling marks leading to the bit. If the coal formed naturally around the object, that means it predates human mining technology by millions of years, which shouldn't be possible. A modern tool in prehistoric coal raises one big question. Is our timeline of history missing something? Number 11. Iron Pillar of Delhi. In a humid, monsoon-heavy city like Delhi, a 1,500-year-old iron pillar should be a corroded mess. Instead, it hasn't rusted at all. Built during the reign of Chandragupta II, this 6-ton column is made of iron, purer than anything medieval metallurgy should have been able to produce. Modern wrought iron contains manganese and sulfur, which help prevent corrosion. The iron pillar, however, has none of that, yet it remains completely intact. Some scientists believe its secret lies in a protective phosphorus compound that naturally formed over time. Others suggest that ancient Indian blacksmiths had metallurgical techniques we still don't fully understand. This isn't just an old relic, it's a technological anomaly. Ancient civilizations weren't supposed to know how to produce near rust-proof iron long before industrial metallurgy. So how did they do it? And why does modern iron still struggle to match what was achieved 1,500 years ago? Number 10. 100-million-year-old hammer. A hammer encased in stone sounds normal until you realize the surrounding rock is supposedly over 100 million years old. Well, yup. Discovered in 1934 in Texas, the so-called London hammer is a puzzling anomaly. Its wooden handle has partially turned to coal, and the hammer's iron head is made from an unusually pure alloy, suggesting advanced metalworking. But skeptics argue that while the rock contains ancient materials, that doesn't mean the hammer itself is prehistoric. It could have simply been trapped in a modern mineral concretion. Still, questions remain. If the hammer were recent, why does its wood show signs of fossilization? Why is its metal composition so unusual? And if it truly dates back millions of years, it throws everything we know about human history into question. But we don't think it's real. What do you say? Number 9. Million-year-old bridge. A 30-mile-long bridge-like structure stretches across the ocean between India and Sri Lanka. Ancient Hindu texts describe it as Ram Setu, built by King Rama over 1 million years ago. Satellite images clearly show a submerged land connection, but whether it's natural or man-made is still debated. Geological studies reveal something odd. The bridge is made of boulders sitting on a layer of marine sand, an arrangement that shouldn't naturally occur. Dr. Badrinarayanan, a former director of the Geological Survey of India, studied core samples and found inconsistencies suggesting artificial construction. Mainstream scientists argue that Ram Setu is just a natural formation, shaped by ocean currents. But if that's the case, why do ancient texts describe it so specifically? Whether it was built by humans, shaped by nature, or something in between, Ram Setu remains one of history's most debated structures. Number 8. Piri Reis Map. In 1513, Turkish Admiral Piri Reis compiled a world map that included a detailed coastline of Antarctica 300 years before its official discovery. Even more shocking, the map appears to depict Antarctica without ice, suggesting it was based on much older, possibly ancient sources. Some researchers, including Dr. Charles Hapgood, proposed that the map was drawn from pre-Ice Age charts, made when Antarctica was still habitable. Supporting this idea, U.S. Air Force cartographers noted that parts of the map accurately depict Antarctica's subglacial topography, only confirmed by seismic surveys in the 20th century. Mainstream historians reject this, arguing that the Antarctica on the map is just a misinterpretation of South America's coastline. But if Hapgood was right, it raises an even bigger question. Who mapped Antarctica before it was covered in ice? If such an advanced civilization existed, we have yet to find solid evidence. Number 7. 2,000-year-old earthquake detector. In 132 AD, Chinese polymath Zhang Heng invented something centuries ahead of its time, the world's first seismoscope. Designed to detect distant earthquakes, this ancient device worked so well that even modern replicas have proven remarkably accurate. Shaped like a bronze urn, the seismoscope had 8 dragon heads, each holding a small ball. When an earthquake occurred, the vibration would trigger a mechanism inside, causing one of the balls to drop into a toad-shaped vessel below, indicating the direction of the quake. In 138 AD, it successfully detected an earthquake 300 miles away, even though no one in the capital had felt it. Days later, a messenger arrived confirming the disaster. How Zhang Heng designed this 2,000-year-old precision instrument without modern seismology remains a mystery. Some believe it worked through pendulums or internal levers, but no one knows for sure. His invention proves that ancient technology was far more advanced than we often assume. But is it real or just a thing? Number 6. 150,000-year-old pipes in China? Near Mount Baigong, China, a network of iron pipes runs through caves leading to a nearby lake. The shocking part? Some of these pipes are 150,000 years old, according to dating tests conducted by the Beijing Institute of Geology. Chinese state media reported that an 8% portion of the pipe material is unidentifiable, and some pipes emit strange levels of radiation. Researchers suggest that iron-rich magma may have created tube-like formations as it cooled, but this doesn't explain why the pipes appear deliberately arranged, with some cut into uniform diameters. Some speculate they are the remains of an ancient water supply system, possibly from a lost civilization predating recorded history. Others suggest they could be fossilized tree roots turned into iron over time. Until scientists can fully explain their origin, the Baigong pipes remain one of China's most bizarre and unexplained discoveries. All right, now, let's head over to number 5, the Lycurgus Cup. At first glance, the Lycurgus Cup looks like an ordinary Roman goblet until light passes through it. That's when the real magic happens. The cup shifts from a deep green to a glowing, almost blood-red hue, baffling scientists for centuries. How could ancient artisans create something so advanced? It wasn't until modern researchers studied it under a microscope that the answer was found. The Romans had unknowingly mastered nanotechnology over 1,600 years ago. Inside the glass are gold and silver nanoparticles, just 50 nanometers wide, smaller than a single wavelength of light. These microscopic particles manipulate light in a way that creates a stunning color shift. The wildest part? We didn't start experimenting with this level of technology until the 20th century. Even today, no one has been able to perfectly recreate the technique. Was this a one-time accident? Or did the Romans understand far more than we realize? The Lycurgus Cup is proof that history still holds secrets we've barely begun to unravel. Number 4. The Great Wall of Texas. In 1852, a group of farmers digging a well in what's now Rockwall County, Texas, hit something unexpected. Stone, layer after layer, forming what looked like a buried ancient wall. As more of it was uncovered, the structure seemed too precise, too orderly to be natural. Some believe it's a man-made fortress built by a lost civilization, while geologists argue it's just a natural rock formation. The real mystery? This wall is estimated to be 200,000 to 400,000 years old, far older than any known human construction. If it was built, that means someone was stacking stone hundreds of thousands of years ago, long before mainstream history says that was possible. Some researchers suggest it could be a prehistoric settlement or even remnants of an ancient unknown society. Others say it's simply a freak of nature. But until more evidence emerges, the Great Wall of Texas remains one of the strangest finds in North America. Number 3. The Antikythera mechanism. When divers discovered a rusted chunk of metal in a Greek shipwreck in 1901, they had no idea they were looking at something 2,000 years ahead of its time. Known as the Antikythera mechanism, this ancient device wasn't just a simple tool, it was a mechanical computer, built by the Greeks in the 2nd century BC. Made up of at least 30 intricate bronze gears, the device could predict eclipses, track planetary movements, and even determine the dates of the Olympic Games. This kind of technology shouldn't have existed until the 14th century, yet here it was, centuries ahead of its time. Even today, scientists still haven't figured out all its functions. Was it part of a lost tradition of advanced engineering? Did the knowledge behind it disappear after the shipwreck? Whatever the case, the Antikythera mechanism proves one thing. The ancient world was far more advanced than we ever imagined. In fact, we're nothing compared to them. Number 2. The defy spheres. Scattered across Costa Rica, hundreds of perfectly round stone spheres have been baffling experts for nearly a century. Ranging from the size of a baseball to over 8 feet wide, these mysterious spheres were first uncovered in the 1930s when workers were clearing land for banana plantations. The people who carved them? Long gone. Their purpose? Completely unknown. The Dikis culture, which existed from 700 to 1530 CE, is believed to have shaped these massive stones, but no one knows how they achieved such near-perfect symmetry without modern tools. Some say they were used for astronomical purposes. Others think they were territorial markers or symbols of power. A few even believe they map out constellations. Whatever their purpose, the sheer effort that went into creating them suggests they were important. But without written records or living descendants, the defy spheres remain one of archaeology's greatest unanswered questions. Number 1. The Baghdad Battery. In 1936, archaeologists in Iraq uncovered what seemed like an ordinary clay jar near the ruins of Ctesiphon. But inside, they found something strange: a copper cylinder, an iron rod, and a bitumen seal. No one thought much of it until Wilhelm Koenig, a researcher at the Iraq Museum, suggested a wild theory in 1940. This wasn't just a jar. It was a battery, made nearly 1,800 years before modern electricity was even a concept. The idea? When filled with an acidic liquid like vinegar or lemon juice, the device could generate an electric charge. Experiments confirmed it could produce a weak current. But here's where things get weird. There's no proof of electricity being used in ancient Mesopotamian culture. No wires, no devices, no records of electroplating. So, was this really a power source, or just a misunderstood artifact? Some believe it was used for pain relief, others say it was just a well-sealed container. The truth? Until more evidence emerges, the Baghdad Battery remains one of history's most electrifying mysteries. If you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.